Hey guys, this is Mark from TradePro Academy, and in this weekend's video, we're going to introduce you to our favorite intraday VWAP trading strategies. So let's get at it. Now, before we go into our favorite setups and show you examples on the chart, if you're not familiar with what a VWAP is or how we like to implement it in our personal day trading, make sure to check out our blog post on this topic. The link will be in the description below. Have a quick read of this before continuing on with this video, as it will provide the context required to understand why we want to take these setups as we do. With that out of the way, let's take a look at our favorite intraday VWAP trading setups. So what you see in front of you is our 4 favorite setups when trading the VWAP. This is the VWAP breakout, the VWAP pullback, the fade to the VWAP, and the VWAP break and retest setups. Let's take a quick look at the charts now and give you some great examples of how you can qualify low risk, high opportunity trades using the VWAP. What you guys see in front of you now is a 5-tick range chart of the US crude oil January futures contracts. And this orange line right here, this is the pit session VWAP. This starts calculating at 9 a.m. Eastern and concludes calculations at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. This purple line down here, this is our Globex session VWAP, which takes into account all the trading activity overnight so that when we wake up and take a look at our charts at morning time in the US, we can have a general idea of what the average price of trading was overnight. This can help us build potential biases into the morning session, and it can show us potential locations for price to target. This is a great example right here of the VWAP breakout setup. So what you can see is that prices opened right around 56.40 in the morning, and they continued higher until we kind of petered out, the energy in the market petered out, and we had a dip below the VWAP. So in this context, this can be seen as a bullish pullback, as the Globex VWAP is still under price, and the pit session VWAP price is under the pit session VWAP. So what we can see here is that this pullback was short-lived. We did see a double bottom, and the market rather, came back in to test this VWAP. So let's take a look at the footprint charts to see how we could have qualified a trade in this level. So the chart you see in front of you now is a 5-tick reversal footprint chart. And essentially what this will show us here is the level of order flow intraday. So if prices are shooting under the VWAP like this, we want to see these red sell imbalances print near the highs of these candles on the rotations. This shows that bears are in control. However, if we start seeing sell imbalances show up near the bottoms of the candles, that could indicate trapped shorts. So what we see here is we see a move lower. We see buyers starting to step in with the buy imbalances. Another retest of this low, buy imbalances step in again. We get a rotation higher, and you can see here we got some shorts coming into the market, and on this next rotation higher, you can see these shorts get trapped as the market pulls into the VWAP. So this is the context that we're looking for. We want to see that there are trapped traders in order to take the VWAP breakout setup. That is qualified down here. Now you can see as price came in, we did get a sell imbalance show up right up here. However, the next rotation lower, you can see we tried lower, but we couldn't quite get lower, and a sell imbalance printed in here showing that some additional sellers stepped into the market. So we've got sell imbalance here and sell imbalance here, showing that sellers hit the market aggressively in these levels, anticipating the market to rotate back down into here. What happened on this next rotation? We got a higher rotation followed by a move back down here. You can see another sell imbalance printed right at this VWAP, indicating additional shorts entering the market. What you should see if the market is to continue lower is the next rotation to follow through to the downside. However, we don't get that. We've got the intraday breakout over this VWAP. At this point here, you can start looking to qualify trades into buy imbalances. So anytime the market rotates back down, we want to look to offer, or rather to bid in this case, our limit orders around these buy imbalances so that we can pick up the potential move. And you can see here that after this breakout, which was around 55.67 level, the market rallied higher up into 56.98, almost $57 before rotating lower. Now you can see that sellers have stepped into this market here. We've got some sell imbalances on the low. This next rotation higher shows that these sellers are potentially trapped. So that right there is the first example of the VWAP breakout setup. We had sellers stepping into the market and getting trapped on the lows, additional sellers stepping in at the VWAP, and you can see that there was no rotations supporting these sellers, which showed us that order flow is transitioning back to the bull side and a breakout trade can be a viable opportunity for us. And in this case, it worked out and we got a nice move of about 30 cents up into $57 region, which on one contract is about 300 bucks. So that right there is the VWAP breakout setup. Let's take a look now at the VWAP pullback setup. We're back here on the 5-tick range chart of the crude futures, and we can see this was the breakout example here where we got the nice 30-cent rip. Prices and the market rather ended up reaching up into this 57.50 level before pulling back here and breaking these lows, indicating that a move to the VWAP is potentially on the cards. So with this context, you can see price has been clearly bullish this morning up until this point. The buyers are in control and we can look for pullbacks into the VWAP to potentially catch on for a nice ride in the direction of the trend. So we can see the market rotates lower and lower, comes down into this level, doesn't touch it at this point, moves up higher. We could see we had a little bit of consolidation until the market finally penetrated below the VWAP and offered a opportunity to get long for another 50-cent rip back into the previous highs. So let's move back to the footprint chart to see how we could have qualified this setup. Okay, guys, so we're back on the footprint chart here, and what we can see is that after price came up into this level at 57.50, we had a reversal back lower, and we can see this large impulse move back down would have stopped out any of the late longs in this move here. All right, so this was a sell stop release, and we can see price started consolidating, and you can see we're dropping into the VWAP down here. Right, so we've got a move down into the VWAP. You can see sell imbalance showing up here at the 98, and this empty area here is a wick. So this shows that the market came down into this level, closed up here, and on the next rotation, we got a move back higher. Right, so this was not a valid pullback setup as the VWAP did not trade. So we stay patient as the market consolidates until we finally get a breakout below this VWAP. All right. So what you're seeing here at this point is we are getting shorts entering the market aggressively right at the VWAP level. Now, when you see something like this, you want to see follow through to the downside if you are a bear, if you're a seller looking to push the market lower. The last thing that you want to see is a rotation back off that level. And that's exactly what we get here. So what this indicates is that we have sellers that enter the market aggressively on a break of these lows into the pit session VWAP, and that selling pressure was immediately absorbed, as you can see in this rotation higher. We also have a small buy imbalance forming at this level here, and we can now look to start qualifying some longs on dips back into this level for a move higher. All right, so what we can see here is after this VWAP rotated out of that level, we had a small dip and then we had another rotation higher. All right, so as mentioned previously, we can start looking to qualify dips into the previous buy and balance structures here, as well as the point of controls in order to catch a move higher. And on these levels down here, you can see the market just ripped back up almost 50 cents here before pulling off the highs. All right, guys, so that's how we qualify a pullback setup on the VWAP. Is we want to see that the market is consolidating around the level. We want to see traders get trapped on the breakout, which is what we saw here. We had this triple sell imbalance, triple stacked cluster of sell imbalances, and this wasn't enough to rotate the market lower. We can see the next rotation here was back higher with some buy imbalances showing up. So this is our indication here that the VWAP has held as support and that we do have a potential for a move back up in the existing direction of the underlying trend so far, which was bullish. Moving on to the third setup, which is the fade to the VWAP. This is a bit more of an advanced setup. Such should be used by more experienced traders, as this is a little bit more difficult to time in the markets. However, if timed correctly, it can offer great risk reward opportunities. In front of us, we're back on the 5-tick range chart, and we can see that after this market pulled off of the VWAP, we ran into previous highs here, and then we had a little consolidation lower before another run up at these highs at 57.50. Once we see this rejection, this is 1, 2, 3, a triple top rejection here, and we saw the market pull off of that high into this level, breaking this market structure here. This is a good indication that we are potentially fading back down to the VWAP, removing the buy stops of all of these late longs here, these longs trying to pick up the retracement back up to previous highs. All of those traders are getting stopped out on the way down to the VWAP. So the fade to the VWAP trade, we generally look for price to be extended quite far away from the VWAP, and we look for a reversion back to the mean. So that's what the trade setup looks like. Let's switch back to our footprint charts to see how we can qualify a high probability trade on this setup. Here we are back on the footprint chart of the crude oil January futures contracts, and we can see that the market pulled up into those previous highs. You can see these were the previous highs here around the 50 level, and the market pulled up into these highs, and right here on this rotation we can see that we had a cluster of aggressive buyers step into the market on the break of these highs for a breakout trade. So what you should see in this scenario is for the next rotation to follow through to the upside. What did we see in this case? We saw a reversal lower here. This was about 15 cents right off of those highs. And what we can see is we've got some sell imbalances created here near the lows of this candle. So in this case, this is great bearish context to locate a potential trade entry. Why is that? Well, first, we've got buyers right here stuck near the highs, and we've pulled off that level here. What we want to see now is we want to see short rotations that are capped as resistance by this sell imbalance up here. So we can see we've had the move lower. Now we want to see coiling and a move back down into the VWAP to sell anywhere in this level here for a move back down lower. So let's see how this trade played out. So you can see it's kind of drifting sideways, no real presence from the bulls. While we do see some buy imbalances, none of them are really supported by any follow through in this case, right? So we're seeing the market drift lower and lower. And even here is a good location. You had a move down, couple of sell imbalances. You can look to short on a retest of these levels, and we can see that the pit VWAP is right around 57 evens. So this is a good target to aim for because this is a reversion back to the mean. So you can see the market ended up drifting sideways and sideways until we had a final move lower and back into the VWAP, which is the completion of the trade. All right, guys, so this is kind of what it looks like. It's a little bit more advanced, a little bit more difficult to time, but if you can time it well, the risk reward potential is great. So as you see here, we had that move up, the quick reversal lower, sell imbalances start showing up at that level, and we had very brief shallow rotations. The buyers weren't able to recover from this drop, and we saw the market fade down back into the VWAP. So that is fade to VWAP setup. Now let's take a look at our final setup, which is the VWAP break and retest. So here we are back on the 5-tick range chart of crude. So what we call this setup right here is the VWAP sandwich. Essentially what we want to see is the two VWAPs being the pit session VWAP and the Globex session VWAP. We want to see them separated from each other. And once we get a break of this market here, we're not going to look to short there, but we can look to short on a retest of the VWAP as resistance to the upside here. So what we can see is the market traded lower, almost trading into that Globex VWAP at the 5650s. At this point, you can look to qualify potential fades back to the VWAP on a dip around this level here into the 60s. That could be a good opportunity. However, we like to be more patient and we like to wait for this break and retest setup. So what we like to see is the market break the VWAP, trade lower, and then come back into that VWAP, looking to see it trade as resistance for a move back down into the other VWAP. So that's the VWAP break and retest play. Let's take a look at how it looks on the footprint charts so we can show you how you can potentially qualify another low risk, high opportunity setup. So now we're back on the footprint chart of the crude oil futures, and what you can see here is we had a couple of rotations at that VWAP before we broke down below it quite aggressively, printing some sell imbalances, and we can see the market move lower until it caught a little bit of a bid, traded back up into these levels, and then sold off even more. All right, now we came within about 5 ticks of the Globex VWAP, and what we like to look for once we get a breakout of one of the VWAPs is for price to trade lower and then come back into that level, hold it as resistance before a continuation back down into the other VWAP. So in this case here, you can see that we had a move lower. We had a bunch of buy imbalances show up in the market here, indicating aggressive buyers are stepping into the market here. And we can see that we did have some bullish follow through. We had a retracement back into that level of the clusters. You can see we had the clusters here around the 65s. We had a pullback into this level, and then the market just rocketed higher right into our VWAP, the pit session VWAP here at 57. So we can see we had this move up higher, and the market was unable to break it on that rotation, and we did get a rotation lower. So this is the first indication that we're able to qualify a potential short, as we do not want to see price break out over this level. So this next rotation here, what you can start seeing is that we've got sell imbalances coming into the market, indicating that sellers are starting to step in around this level. We can also see some no auctions up here, the 0x1 print, 0x1 print, indicating there's very little activity up here. All right, so now what we can see is that after these rotations, the pit VWAP was broken here, and we did have some two buy imbalances step in here. So at this point, if you're looking to qualify the short, what you want to see is a failure in follow through on this candle here. All right, so you can see is although we did trade a little bit higher, this did not close green. This was a rotation back lower. Now we're back below the VWAP, and you can see that we are starting to consolidate. We've got one rotation, two rotations, three rotations, four rotations now at the VWAP. Now we're back below, and we've got some sell imbalances stepping in here. So now this is looking more and more like a valid resistance level that we can look to short. So at this point, you can see we've got a cluster of point of controls here right around that VWAP level. Come back into it, print a sell imbalance here, right? Now we've got that move lower. So we can look to take shorts now right around this level, anywhere around this level, risking above the 57.06s for a move back down into that VWAP here at the 56.50 level, right? And as you can see, after we've had several rotations at that VWAP resistance, we were unable to break out higher, and the market is now drifting lower. And now the bulls, or rather the bears, start stepping in. You can see we've had some sell stops, some low auctions down here, and price just aggressively trades back down into that VWAP level. We did get a little bit of a buyer stepping in into this level here. However, ultimately, price ended up coming back into that level, retesting this sell imbalance up here. We've got a couple of rotations and then another test of the VWAP here. So we've got this VWAP, and again, we're looking for the exact same thing here. You can see we've got some rotations, we've got some buy imbalances stepping in, rotation lower, and then we get another rotation back under the VWAP, some sell imbalance and a buy imbalance stepping in here, showing a little bit of a fight. Another move back into that VWAP, sell imbalance is holding. We've got 1, 2, 3. That's 4 rotations now at resistance. So at this point, we can look to qualify a short, setting our sell limit around the 96 to 98 region and looking to risk up above the 5704, 5706 level here. As you can see, we trade back up into it. Another rotation comes back into the VWAP. A little fake move higher, and the sell imbalance holds, and we see another follow through lower. A final tick comes back up into this level here. You can see we are holding this resistance, and then we get our final move lower. And at this point here, you can also look to qualify a short now, as this is more probable that this level is resistance. You can look to qualify the shorts down around this level here for the move back down into that VWAP. You can see short rotations here. Shouldn't really see a pop back above the 5690s. And we can see the market continue selling off until that VWAP target is hit. All right, guys, so there you have it. Those are our 4 favorite setups to trade on an intraday basis. I hope you guys found great value in that. I hope you're able now to apply this VWAP into your trading strategy and start profiting. Until next time, good luck and good trading. Take care.